All right, our very special guest this morning is Cassandra Morrison, Director, National Council for Senior Citizens, Ministry of Labor and Social Security. Normally we would have my representative this morning, but our members of parliament and mayors, everybody in meetings, and it's very difficult to get those guests sometimes. So, good morning, Ms. Morrison. How you do?
I am well, thank you, Mr. Diary. Good morning, and good morning to your listeners.
Well, I can tell you, they must be jumping for joy, especially the elderly when they have you coming on this program, because a lot of mature persons listen to this program. And therefore, they hear you coming, they are jumping through the roof. But before I get into the details, we probably should talk about your department. And I can't make you talk about the whole place because you have a specialist area, your inner area. But tell us what you can tell us for the time being about the various, what the functions of this Ministry of Social Labor and Social Security, especially your department.
Right. So the National Council for Senior Citizens, as you have correctly said, Mr. Darby, is a department within the Ministry of Labor and Social Security that has particular responsibility for persons who are 60 years and older in Jamaica. And so our services are mainly geared towards persons who are 60 and older. We exist to see to it that the government's policy regarding services and conditions for senior citizens are being carried out by the various entities within the country. And we also advise the minister on particular issues having to do with the elderly that require attention.
Oh, that's interesting. You said advise the minister. So basically, you'd have to. Oh, so you're the technical persons, and that person don't understand that is a very important role, in terms of advising the minister. So, tell me some of the things that you have brought. Well, I have to be very careful because not everything you can probably say on air. But tell me, based upon your experience, the kind of information that you share with the minister. Probably you carry out certain research or statistics. Tell us about some of that information.
Right. So, yes, there are some things that, we leave up to the minister to bring to the attention of the public.
Yes.
But if we go back in history, there are some things that, yes, we can inform the public. For example, persons may not be aware that the Jamaica Drug for the Elderly program that is now, subsumed under the National Health Fund was actually a recommendation to the government of the day.
No, hold on. You see now? You see a blind Vernon know about that? Eh? Me never know that, Really? That is a big thing,
Yes. Right. So having understood that, senior citizens, people are getting older and we're aging with a lot of chronic illnesses and the cost of medication is so expensive, it is important for us to advocate and bring to the attention.
I like how you're very nice, Yes, it's so expensive. They can't buy it because guess what? The little money, well, they're not getting any pension. And some of them, the little pension that they're getting, they can't do anything. All right? So that's another thing. But let me tell you what, when we come back, you tell us more about that because sometimes, and as Jamaicans, sometimes we don't appreciate certain things, Like, I don't say you guys are perfect, but we have sometimes when this late and this, that, and all and something there. But at the same time, many of us don't even realize that you guys made a recommendation, sons for drugs for the elderly, and that is a big benefit. I know quite a number of persons who have diabetes, hypertension. They cannot get it and they get a little, boy, that is wonderful. All right, let me go for the break and come back and you tell us more, right? So, and we're talking with Cassandra Morrison, Director, National Council for Senior Citizens at the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. This is Spot On, the People's Program, the People's University and the People's Parliament. Vernon Darby, your friend, saying to you, soon come back. Don't move. Welcome back. You're listening to Rhythm FM, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. I'm your friend Vernon Darby. This is a People's Program for People's University. Spot on. Of course, you're listening to Rhythm FM. And my guest this morning is Cassandra Morrison, Director, National Council for Senior Citizens, Ministry of Labor and Social Security. You'll tell us a few things about the department and what it does. You're going to continue because the drugs, that is a big thing. And I'm sure there are other things that you have done.
Right. So thank you so much, Mr. Darby. Right. So one of the other things that maybe senior citizens in the Kingston metropolitan region and those in Western Jamaica, in Montego Bay primarily, would have benefited from the concessionary fares on the JUTC buses.
Hold on. I don't trust you. May I read my mind, you know? Would you believe that's what cost my mind immediately before you start? I thought I was going to set you, the elderly shouldn't pay no fare. You know, I'm not conscious about the whole them never start, or the private sector, but at least the public sector, they shouldn't charge them no fare. In your country, that's still a little blind.
Yes. All right, so yes, that would be another initiative, and the council rests within the larger Ministry of Labor and Social Security, and we make recommendations and agitate for social security and social assistance programs. And one of the more recent ones coming out of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security for the elderly would be the social pension.
Oh, yes, the social pension.
75 and older.
And who don't have an NIS. I see.
And those people who have no NIS, they are not benefiting from PASS or any other kind of assistance.
Right.
These would have been persons who are, really vulnerable. And the mantra of the Ministry of Labor is leaving nobody behind. So, we have to put in place some kind of response and support system to assist
and I want to tell you something, though, Cassandra. I think that, including myself, we make up noise when things don't go right. When there are benefits and so on, and the public servants who put forward suggestions and so on, we need to applaud them. I'm not talking to you, When I talk to my friends in the media and everybody, we love to be bearers of bad news. So the good news makes sense, so we need to carry it sometimes.
Yes. That would be so. So yes, the council works in collaboration with our partners as well. We have several partners in other ministries, departments, and agencies, and we have a lot of private sector partners. We always need more.
Yes.
Right? Because we are of the view that senior citizens have contributed a lot and in many ways to the development of Jamaica, and we can do a lot more for them. There's always work to be done, and so we are always open and encouraging to persons, making contact with us and working with us to make life better for senior citizens. But in recent times, the government launched a revised national policy for senior citizens. Which is really a roadmap to say how it is that we would like to see senior citizens aging and being treated, what services should be available to them, how should the country be responding to the needs of senior citizens.
By the way, we treat them bad, You see, although they just picking them, let me tell you, especially when they catch out America, they do business with them,
Right, so the population is aging worldwide, and it is no different, and so we have to be proactive, and not reactive. So we have to start to be thinking about how do we want people to be aging? What should we be telling persons about? Yes, how to treat with senior citizens, how to deal with aging. Some persons don't want to accept that they are growing older, but yes, we are, and we need to.
No, Megan, I disagree with you with that one. Yeah, I am growing older, but I'm getting younger.
Right. Yes, and we don't want to associate growing older with any kind of disability.
Yes.
This negative connotation, as if to say, because we are growing older means we are, less of
By the way,
we used to be.
Let me stop you right there, so. Me no want to go do, but now have to do something because many of us, we cry down judgment by ourselves, you know. Like when I talk to some persons, they will say, Mr. Darby, me are 60, you know. Me can't just, some say, hold on. They say, no, look, most of them can tell me, they will want to hear me age. And when I tell them my age, you know, me if certain things take you, you know, you can't stop it. But we have a challenge with persons who believe from they reach 50 odd. Judgment come, then days done. I don't know if your department, that's your remit, but there needs to be a kind of program, probably because they are treated as if they are. Sometimes, you know, many of the relatives, you know, they come in like those birds that fly high up. And they're only waiting until such time until they can get something. So probably something needs to be done to tell the elderly that your days are done yet, you are used. I don't go and get into it because it's daytime radio. The first thing we jump and say, them can't love and have no use. Oh, you lick your head. Oh no, when you're young, I want to know no use because you don't know what love is. You don't.
Right. So we are aware that, a lot of public education and a change in the behavior of the public towards aging, towards older people needs to happen.
But you know why they behave like that to the elderly sometimes? Because they're not going to get old.
Yes, I believe we remove ourselves from that thinking. You know? Yes. That and it probably has a lot to do with, you know, the influence of other cultures on.
Yes. Because our African culture, definitely when it comes to they respect them. You know, you go to them for advice and so on. But you're absolutely correct. I must tell you a story that I don't know if it reached you. I think I'm getting help. Because one thing I must tell you, know, if you guys don't know, when I carry trouble to, no kind of help me too. There's a lady, very dignified lady who has contributed significantly. And of course, you know, when you reach a certain age, you get dementia and so on. And let me tell you something. Somebody, I would say capture. I went to that place. I ended there. I'm only a catcher waiting until such time. I don't want to lock up there too. When I heard about it, I said, not over my dead body. Right? So I guess I need to follow up on that one. Lock up the woman at daytime and the house woman can, you know, kiss bad. So let me ask you, that's another thing which is, as you know, getting worldwide attention, you know. How do you deal with persons, the elderly, when they can't take care of themselves, relatives don't business with them, they're in our house lock up, and so what can you do? And you go, I hope nobody come to about human rights because about this you can't remove them like that, but you have to take care of them, they can't take care of themselves. What facilities, what can you do to help those persons who have reached a stage, you know, where they really can't help themselves?
Right. So one of the first things we need to consider is that, you know, I was driving home the other day and I saw a billboard that says everybody have rights. You know, yes, everybody does have rights, and we need to consider each other. You know, what is the best thing? How do we support each other in our families? If from our perspective, we always take an approach of supporting the family in furtherance of protecting the senior citizen.
Yes.
And so we generally take the cases at their own merit.
Right.
And the social workers generally work with the families to find out, or oftentimes to insist on a particular level of care, dignity and respect that must be afforded.
But sometimes the family, them no business, some of them they are foreign, you know, they don't care.
Right. So where that is possible, we may have to involve other entities of the state, and other legal arms and so on. But the council itself does not take on such cases per se, as to we do not have a law that empowers us to remove persons from their property or their homes and so on.
Can that be a recommendation, ma'am?
But we do make recommendations, and we work with
No. I'm suggesting that you recommend to them that the law gives you that, because it's the Ministry of Social Security.
Yes, right.
I'm going to make you, because guess what? Right now there's a discussion in the United States, going on. I guess right across the world. You know, when persons are mentally challenged, for example, who wait until they commit some violent act, because so we can't detain them. And I said, no, we must change the law so that if you have 3 doctors who have tested the person and checked it out, because we do know that the state can abuse that situation. And But we can't just leave persons until they do something way out. Then we detain them, and then we treat them like criminals.
Yes. Well, I can say, Mr. Darby, that the idea of protection of elderly persons is certainly something that is being given priority in the Ministry of Labor and Social Security. And that is as much as I can say.
Right. But I can add something else too. One of them gave me an idea that I've been pushing it, but it hasn't got any traction as such. And that is the concept of reverse mortgage, where if you have no money, you have a place, then, and there seems to be that the private sector hasn't shown the kind of interest. So probably, government have to take up everything. It's amazing. But how it works is that if you have a place, for example, you have no source of income, then you are given monthly payments, and if you give that monthly payments, it will value a certain amount over a certain amount of years. And it means, therefore, after a while, if you die, and more than likely the person might even die before take control of the premises. Because there are many elderly persons now, they're living in a home, but they just can't afford to buy certain things, and what do they do? And I think also, too, if you reach a state where you have the power, you can take them up and maintain the property, sell it or whatever, and look after that person. Because many of them are suffering from dementia. There's another thing I want you to take up with me, even your private capacity, because I know the law allow you to do any and everything. You see that money we left our bank, man, we then call dormant money. And I know you are public servants and not everything you can comment on. That there's something of the biggest, I have to be careful how I say it. I have been asking the banks for years that if persons have an account, or when you take out an account, they should allow you to put at least 2 contacts on that account. And I have not been able to convince them, because guess what? When you reach a certain age, you don't want nobody to know your business. Well, even before that, you don't want them to know. And when you reach 70 and 80 and so on now, then the Alzheimer's and the dementia sets in. You don't know where your money there. And those funds stay in the bank, and money coming like gas, in the banks, it evaporates after a while. And then, you don't remember your money there, and then government will take it over after a while. Mark, if it evaporates fast enough, government won't get anything out of it. And I hear the private sector talking about getting those dormant funds for loan purposes, cheap loans, and lick them head. So I'm going to ask you, ma'am, and if you do it in your private capacity, help me to convince those banks that they put the contacts. So if a person is suffering from dementia, you have contacts who can say, the person is living there and do something. But when somebody have dementia, what the hell am I going to remember them have account in the bank? And by the way, I must tell you, I am fully convinced that the banks are aware, but it's a policy that they're not interested in changing. Well,
yes, so
I know you can't comment, don't worry yourself, but just make it known. So all I'm begging you to do is to see what you can do to encourage government that probably could be a law, or it can be by moral suasion, that we are allowed to have contacts on our bank accounts.
Noted, Mr. Darby.
You must tell me if it makes sense. I'm supposed to be talking rubbish.
I think it does make sense, and
yes.
It's another layer of protection for our seniors.
Lord, if you help me say years, when the panic and nobody not hear me now, sometimes I feel very lonely.
Bye.
And I called on the church sometimes. I even was quite over that church person yesterday. So I'm not talking about praying and so. There are some practical things that you need to call for. A prayer breakfast all the while with the big shot leaders. There are some specific things we need to demand our political leaders change, and also the banks and the financial sector. We need to demand those. Anyhow. That is Vernon being the advocate, you see. You're not the advocate, so you can't listen to me rant and rave. Now, there are some of the things that you have, which I'm sure many persons don't know. We want to partner with you so we can get it out there, because let me tell you something. You say, if you tell somebody something today, you may say, like, my head, I get thick already. You say, by tomorrow, they don't remember. And the word is they don't recall. Now, I understand that I guess you have to pay the little NS money, and some people don't want to pay it. And before going to that, what are you going to do? There are some organizations, ma'am, they collect the people, them NS, and they're not paying over. Well, no, they won't lock them up and lock down the business and get the money for them. Not lock down the business, but take it over and make sure they get the money. Why, ma'am? And we know it's happening. Is that your remit? I don't know, you know. But
exactly. I was just about to say, Mr. Darby, that you know the NIS is a separate department.
Is that separate? Right.
Yes, right. But I am sure you know, you could extend an invitation to that department. I'm sure they would be happy to provide your listeners with information on that matter.
Because I tell you the truth, you know, ma'am, they might take the LLF for joke, you know. No man, they might ramp up. I've been saying to the banks. Well, I'm happy to tell you, know, and it's a troublemaker. Vernon, why some banks have chairs. Oh, yes, years ago I raised the roof at one particular bank. I didn't have chairs for pregnant ladies and for the elderly. Now they do. We need, for example, I've been calling on business persons now to have a line for the elderly. And if you don't have a line, when they come in here, they go to the beginning of the line. And then I hope somebody not cause and quarrel because we're going to get hold of we're going to want special treatment. So those are some of the ideas I have. I believe that on the public transportation system, we need to stop charge them. You know, what they said. Oh, by the way, I hear that when you reach a certain age and you pay your NS, and if you die, you assist too. That's not your area? No, that's not your area. That's not that's NS area, right?
No, that is NIS.
NIS area, right. No, we have another few minutes before the break. Because I feel so strongly about the elderly. That's why I say it's your time today. So you continue to give us information and guide us in terms of how we treat with and how the elderly who still can help themselves can reach out to you to see that they are treated better.
Right. So there is an emergency, a toll-free line for senior citizens. And that number is 888 seniors.
Hold on, no?
Yeah.
888 seniors. SENI. Okay, may I get
SENIORS.
May I get senior too, you know?
Yes, or 736 4677.
736
4677.
4677.
That will be 888 736 4677.
Okay, but then you have to be specific, you know, which company, because if they call from another company.
Right, so this is Flow.
Oh, this is Flow.
It's toll-free Flow.
Right, so for those who need, and basically this is not about NS, because let me tell you something, they might flood that number with NS. Does that use the same number for NS matters or just for general things affecting the elderly?
Well, the general things affecting the elderly, I would say, though, that if you are having a difficulty reaching the NIS offices, we might be able to assist you with getting in contact or probably advancing your case to a particular department, right? But it's generally for any issues or queries or concerns, or even if you would like to volunteer with the Council with the Elderly across the island, the number is available for you. We find sometimes that the seniors are not aware of the various services available to them, or sometimes they're having challenges with entities. You're not getting anywhere. We are also able to advocate, assist on your behalf, to be a broker between you and a particular entity to assist you where possible.
There's another thing I'm going to ask you to help me to lobby for, because, you know, quite a few changes, you know, that are needed. You know, that especially with the push now to become more computerized, or they call it digitized.
Yeah.
But of course, when you do that, you do alienate the elderly.
Yes, some elderly.
Right. So, Lord of mercy, be very careful, because I know Mrs. Mackey, they did in Harborview, she was in 90 yard. She don't wrap up on social media. So there are quite a few persons who are quite au fait with the technology. Take, for example, the utility bills. I made a suggestion over years, and one company, they tell me that they're working on it. What we should do, the same way you allow one to transfer credit from your phone to somebody else. So the elderly person who's at au fait in terms of buying credit and so on, you just transfer it. And that is one way where the younger folks can help the elderly. Now, you know that you're aware that some of the companies have been reducing closing some of their offices, and because they're moving online. I've said to them, before you close the offices, what you should have done is allow individuals to accept payment from the elderly. Now, I remember I see the accountant called me. I said, Mr. Darby, it's a security matter. I said, no, sir. What you do, you pay with your credit card, and the moment it's paid and the person gives you the money, sends a message to the phone immediately that it is paid. So you can't pocket the money. We have the technology here, so we can do it. So what we need to do in various communities, for example, many elderly persons, they can't leave them house and go office, go pay a bill. We need to have persons in the communities who can pay it for them and just take a little money from them. Just give them a little credit card that's like our debit card so they can pay the bill. They give you the money and that's it.
Yes, I do agree, Mr. Darby, that, when it comes to utility services,
right,
definitely for other private corporate entities, that, we can do a little more to ensure that, our senior citizens are accommodated or the customer service.
Yes, is lacking. By the way,
yes,
I'm sure many citizens or senior citizens, they would know that when you reach a certain age, some of the banks, they waive all the bank charges, or some.
yes.
Many persons don't know that, and because they don't know, the charges are not waived. Right? The charges are not waived. So that is something I hope those who have a grandmother or great-grandmother, if you are listening, understand that. Check with your bank and ask them what benefits they offer for the elderly. And if they don't, simply switch and go somewhere else. Simple as that. And if you see, if your mother, your father not being treated properly, then you let them go somewhere else. It's time the elderly stand up and say, listen, we're not going to take the foolishness. I tell you what, we're going to go for a break. When we come back, we just have a few minutes when we come back. But I'm sure there are other things you want to share. Well, I think we have shared quite a lot today.
Yeah.
But you stay with us. So come back. Of course, we're talking to Cassandra Morrison. It's all about the elderly today. And about that time, I say, apply to you. Because guess what? You ever hear the saying that little pig, they look upon big hog and say, why you snout so long? And big hog say, only time will tell. Time will tell. So, Tande, remember, say you're young today. But if God bless you and live a little longer, you're going to be old tomorrow. So, take sleep. Mark that. I'm Vernon Darby saying to you this. You're listening to Redeem FM, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica, broadcasting on the FM band on 102.3, 102.1, 102.5, 102.7, and 102.9. Of course, you can get us on the internet at www.redeemfmjamaica.com, www.redeemfmjamaica.com. And I have 2 tickets to give away to go and see a play which closes this weekend. So after lunch, if you continue to stay with us, you never can tell. If you answer the question correctly, you just could win those tickets. When we come back, we will continue the conversation with Cassandra Morris, Director, National Council for Senior Citizens. Vernon Darby, your friend, is saying to you, soon come back. Don't move.
I don't play no games, you can trust in me. You don't know it's the boy Mink Trouble Active representing for Black Massive. Ray and Nephew in association with CC Entertainment Recording Studio presents Black Massive Birth Night Bash Link-Up. Spend all you can, help the blind. Tuesday, April 1st at Spender's Bar, Princess Tree. Music by Ray and Nephew Mode, Skinny 123, and DJ Presses. Sponsored by Supreme, Bonafide Liquor Store, Rehab Bar and Lounge, Platinum Dancers, Snap the Office Equipment, Tall Man Nuclear, Red Bull.
Speed, reliability, security, customer service, price, and on time. All the things you need in a courier. Choose SSMC Express. SSMC Express International, service delivery at the speed of life.
Alright now, any bet, your best bet, any day, every day. Winnings you get, all kind of sports, virtual sports, games and horse racing, local, international. We have slot machine in our spot. Play enough, win big with the best odds now. Any bet lounge spread across the island. Any bet get in on the action.
Bet today on any sport or gaming at any bet locations island-wide. Any bet, your best bet.
Join the Transport Authority in
We Drive for You.
Hear about the authority's services, policies, and plans, how we are making public transportation safe and efficient for you. And you too can join the conversation every other Tuesday at 12:20 p.m. during Spot On with Vernon Darby on Rhythm FM.
Transport Authority will support you. We drive for you. Knowledge, awareness. We drive for you.
So, Bonnie, you renew your road license yet?
Boy, babes, the road have me away. I can't even find time, but you know money for me.
But see, I shall out them money the back for late fee and record fee when you sit down make your road license expire upon you.
Operators of public passenger vehicles and commercial carriers, renew your road license before April 1 and avoid late penalty. A message from the Transport Authority. Call us 876-926-8912.
Jamaica Weekly, the voice of Jamaica, is Jamaica's newest and most exciting full-color tabloid newspaper, packed with news, sports, entertainment, and a whole lot more. Jamaica Weekly is free and is distributed every Thursday to businesses and consumers island-wide. Pick up your free copy of Jamaica Weekly today at major retail outlets near you, supermarkets, pharmacies, and service stations. Jamaica Weekly is a member of the Mellow Media Group. For more information, call 876-616-3031. That's 876-616-3031. Jamaica Weekly. Pick up your free copy today.
John, I know you're in there. I want no when lights come back. I know Pinky this time.
Keisha, just like me tell Pinky, give JPS your number and then we'll send your text with them things there. So you can stop, knock me door.
What you mean?
DM or call JPS and tell them to add your phone number to your account and you will know everything all the time.
You not for ask. Send your current contact information and always be in the know. Visit jpsco.com for more info.
Paul, I need help with my vehicle cost this year. It's going through the roof. You think I should call Keith?
You're mad. Don't you want a system that easy for you?
Yeah, man.
You want the best price boat you too?
Yeah, man. I bet you want real-time alert and island-wide coverage. Yeah, man. So the smart choice is Hawkeye.
They will give you a free 30-day trial.
Yeah, man.
Hey, tell me something. You ever say anything but yeah, man?
Yeah, man.
Just say yeah, man to Hawk Tracker from Hawkeye. Call us at 926-HAWK. Conditions apply.
The Transport Authority is reminding customers in the KMTR that all licensing and renewal services are conducted at its 107 Maxfield Avenue location. Contact the Transport Authority 876-618-0959 or WhatsApp us at 876-551-8196.
Here are a few simple facts about Postinor, the emergency contraceptive pill of choice. Postinor works by stopping the release or preventing the fertilization of an egg. It can be used within 72 hours of intimacy, but is 95% effective if taken within 24 hours. Postinor should not be used as a regular contraceptive, but can be purchased ahead of time for use if the situation arises. Postinor, just to be sure, ask your pharmacist for it by name. Distributed by Medimpex Jamaica Limited and Medimpex West Indies Limited.
The original.
The first.
The best.
There are many ways to say it.
It's a the baddest. It's gonna lead.
It's sell off.
But the fact still remains.
10 out of 10.
It's number one.
Yo, one already. Yo.
Purity Wheat Raisin Bread. Real wheat for real people. Jamaica's #1 choice. Available in a store near you.
Are you ready to pursue undergraduate studies but you are unsure of what to study and where? Choose the internationally accredited University of the Commonwealth Caribbean UCC. We offer on-campus and online undergraduate programs in marketing, business administration, information technology, HR management, finance management, and more. Apply now at ucc.edu.jm or call 906-3000 or visit any of our campuses island-wide. UCC, fostering leadership and innovation.
Rhythm FM.
We're taking over! After the show, it's after party then.
Hey, it's the weekend. It's time to rave. Rhythm Rave. Join me, your host, Aisha Prendy, every Friday and Saturday at 1 to 5 p.m. for the baddest weekend juggling and get the highlights on what's hot, what's hype, what's happening. Rhythm Rave on Rhythm FM.
1 to 5 p.m. It's the freshest weekend show on your radio.
Boom.
so you fi bumps.
Welcome back. You're listening to Rhythm FM, coming to you live from Kingston, Jamaica. And of course, we're broadcasting on the FM band at 102.1, 102.3, 102.5, 102.7, and 102.9. I'm your friend, Vernon Darby. And of course, we're talking with Miss Cassandra Morrison, Director, National Council for Senior Citizens. Yes, ma'am. Is it time to slip by? I guess you wouldn't believe that you've been on this program about an hour, right?
It certainly does.
Right. Well, guess what now? You are the big boss in charge of the whole country. I want to call her the Prime Minister. So you will now speak for the next 5 minutes, uninterrupted, on any matter regarding senior citizens. Over to you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Darby. I think we are at a point in time in our nation when we need to realize that, senior citizens are important. They have contributed and continue to contribute to Jamaica's development, to our economic activities. They continue to support our families. Some are caregivers, some are still breadwinners. And I believe it is time for us to give more regard to older persons as a nation. I believe that we need to become more sensitive of the needs of senior citizens. We need to be aware of the rights of senior citizens, that they deserve to be treated with respect and with dignity. We need to appreciate that we are all growing older. And this fear that we have of growing older is really and truly unrealistic. We know that as we grow older, we have some health issues that we have to contend with. But we also want to say to the public that, how you take care of yourself determines your health in older age. And therefore, we have to begin as a nation, not just older people, but even those of us who are working, children as well, that we need to be paying more attention to a healthy lifestyle, because the choices that we make now does affect us as we grow older. And therefore, we do not have to associate ill health and decline, poverty and dependence with old age, but that, we can rethink aging. And I also want to ask the public, to be a lot more caring for our senior citizens. Look out for them. We want to be judged, yes, by how we treat our elderly persons and also how we treat our children. Right? And I also want to say that the council is here, the Ministry of Labour is here to continue to work with our partners to provide support for senior citizens. And therefore, if you are an older person, whether you are, you find yourself in a position of vulnerability or not, you can reach out to us at our numbers. We are also situated in all the NIS parish offices across the island. So there are many ways for you to contact us, or you can send us an email at ncsc@mlss.gov.jm. Our information is available on the Ministry of Labour and Social Security's website that you can Google, and on the ministry's social media pages. Or you can pop into, as I said, for any of the NIS offices across the parishes.
Well, time has just slipped by. By the way, sorry about that. Anybody has ever told you that the way you sound and your voice, it shows that you really do care?
It's probably a first that I'm hearing.
Yes, you have the voice and the tone of your voice. You can hear it's almost massage. You can imagine you talking to an elderly person or a baby. That you're so massaging me right now that I feel so relaxed. So I want to thank you very much, Cassandra Morrison, Director, National Council for Senior Citizens, Ministry of Labour and Social Security. And I'm happy when when persons like you come on here, because sometimes we need to know who are these civil servants behind here, sometimes we take things for granted. So you continue to do your work, and don't forget those challenges I give you to help me lobby, even your personal capacity.
I did take my notes, Mr. Darby.
You were stubborn. Oh, thank you very much. You have a wonderful day and all the best. Miss Cassandra Morrison, take care.